he told the truth to women, but he wasn't telling the truth as to why he was saying what he was saying. He was just trying to hurt women's feelings. I think he was telling the truth. I agree with a lot of the things he was saying, about why
Yeah,
women were doing certain things and why men were doing certain things, but he wasn't giving the root cause behind it. And that's the thing I didn't agree with, you know.
yeah.
And he was saying a lot of outlandish things as well. But for the most part, the quote you said about what he just said, I do agree with that. And you're right.
All right. Welcome again. Welcome, folks, back again to the Marvin's Minority Report podcast. My special guest, Kenishia Green. So before we introduce Kenishia, I'm just gonna do a quick rundown of her bio and basically who she is, and then we'll turn it over to Kenishia. So, Kenishia Green is an actress known for her role in the movie American Whisper. I watched that for a little bit a few days ago. She was born in Ocho Rios, Jamaica, and moved to the United States when she was 10 years old, developing a passion for performing during her high school years in Pennsylvania. I didn't know you were from Pennsylvania, but it's good to know. Green later pursued her formal education in acting and directing at DeSales University. After she graduated, she continued to New York City, to continue her acting. In addition to acting, Green has made a name for herself in TV host and creating and hosting the Black and Latino Film Award. Congrats on that. I saw you got nominated for that. And basically, let's say, and we have a common interest because we come from the same, I want to say the same company. So that's where I know you from. And we're not going to get into that company here, but that's where that's where I know you from. So, folks, I want to introduce Kenishia Green. Kenishia, welcome to the Marvin's Minority Report podcast. And here is that.
Mm, Thank you for that introduction. I appreciate that.
Not a problem.
Yeah.
So, Kenishia Green,
Yes.
I, I see you doing your thing. I've read your IMD page. Pretty good, pretty good. I like your filmography. You're getting there. You're doing some good things.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Definitely just trying to stay consistent even when things, get a little crazy out here. But yeah.
Yeah. So before we jump into the questions, let's talk about how things have been during the, you know, ups and down of the pandemic,
Mm.
um, just life in general. So how have things been?
During the pandemic, I mean, the question is, are we still even in the pandemic? I don't even know when we got out of it. But um during the pandemic, I don't know. I can't speak for everyone, but like for me, I feel like I wasn't super duper affected by it because I'm a homebody anyway. I like staying home, and started loving working from home these days. Um, so it was like a little reset for me as well. And I think that's kind of also where I've, learned other interests and developed other interests, IT included, um, and just whatever other talents that I can also cultivate while I was locked up. They won't let me out. But other than that, I don't have I don't have any like issues with the pandemic like everyone else did.
Yeah,
So
I mean, I was pretty much just chilling, to be honest.
yeah.
Didn't really affect me, but it affected other people, and then
Hmm.
just adjusting after. kind
Mhm.
of a lot of people didn't really know how to cope with it.
Mhm.
Um, but it's we have to get used to it now.
Mhm.
I think it's what spiking up again. I see everybody with their mask on,
I heard.
but
I heard.
you
But
know,
like I said, I'm minding my business, drinking my water, and just staying out of people's way. But definitely, I think also the pandemic, like it also created like a lot of entrepreneurs as well. A lot of people
exactly.
tapped into social media, and I think because I'm not huge on social media, I'm still learning how to use it. You know, a lot of people did utilize that so well, and I think it made a lot of millionaires during the pandemic as well. So that I can be like, kudos to those people. I'm still trying to find my niche, like what my little corner is or my little space is that I can like monetize on. Like
Yeah.
there's like so many cat videos already. I have like 3 cats. I'm trying to figure out how to use them and make money off of them. But until then, I'm just, going with the flow of things.
I mean, I don't really. It's just when it comes to social media, I kind of look at it from a tech
Mhm.
perspective.
Mhm.
I don't try to utilize it. Well, yes, I try to utilize it to, I want to say, grow the brand, what
Yeah.
everybody is talking about, that B word, the brand.
Mhm.
But as far as that quick monetization, I don't really look at that. I kind of look at the long-term goal.
Mhm.
Um, because that long-term goal is what's going to make a lot of, I want to say, social media billionaires.
Yeah.
So
I
a
agree with
lot of
you
the
too.
yeah, a lot of the millionaires now, they're actually, I want to say, some of them are broke, because they made all that money during the pandemic, but now they're back to struggling. So again, it's just you gotta take every opportunity and look at it from different points of view, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm. I
So
agree with that. Damn, that sucks. People don't know how to handle their money. That's crazy.
it's not even that they don't know how to handle their money. They just weren't equipped for that fast money, because that money came in fast and it went fast. I mean, everybody is putting down payments on Bentleys and G wagons. They got it, but again, you have to think about affording it,
Yeah.
because those
And
are
the
luxury
insurance.
cars,
Mhm.
and the insurance on that, depending on your state, is going
Mhm.
to be high.
Yep.
So, but so let's get into the first question. Can you tell us about your journey as an actress and how you developed an interest in the technology field?
Um, so my journey as an actress started back when I was in high school. I just was doing plays and I just enjoyed it. And I didn't know what I wanted to do in school. And I decided to just try acting, directing. I tried theater and I went to the sales and I completed my 4 year bachelor's there in acting, directing. And I got a lot of experience there. I learned a lot. I learned a lot about rejection from that school as well, and definitely prepared me for New York as well. Because entire industry is rejection, so and then it's one yes out of maybe 100 auditions, maybe. So that's
Yeah,
kind of where that started. And I always say like I credit my mom to an extent because she loved soap operas. And I started watching soap operas at a very young age, and I just thought it was so corny, but it was like you couldn't stop watching it. So, and I said, I want to do that. I like what they're doing. I like the facial expressions. I want to try that. And so that's how that kind of ignited the spark in the beginning. And so
yeah,
with technology, so I technology was never in my foresight. I never even like what is technology, right? I didn't like care to even like the most tech I've ever done when I was younger is helping my mom hook up the like the Ethernet cords or like the cable cord into the back of the TV. Like I knew how to do that. She always come to me to fix the TV up. My brothers didn't know how to do that. That's crazy. But I'm not gonna
really?
speak on their names. So that was the closest ever. And my neighbor used to always My neighbor used to always ask me to help him with this computer way back when, back in like 2008, 2009. So I was like, but it didn't click to me like that was something I could have explored more. So fast forward, obviously, you know how we met Marvin at that
Yep.
job that we won't mention. And
Exactly.
during the pandemic, a lot of the acting roles, there's a lot of acting, everything kind of halted a little bit and a lot changed. So a lot of us were not auditioning, a lot of us weren't being creative as well. So, but that's not what kind of got me into tech. Before that, I was putting myself out there a lot. And, I want to be a working actor. Whatever your passion is, you want to be a working whatever, making your money in that
Exactly.
field and being comfortable. No one's saying we got to be a millionaire, but if that's your goal, good for you. But for me, I just wanted to be a working actress or an actor where that's the majority of my money is coming from. I feel maintained and I feel stable. But when that wasn't the case and I had to reevaluate a lot of things, and I'm like, hmm, I was working from home, so I had that money coming in, but it wasn't like a lot. But I was like, I don't want to really be broke all the time. You know what I mean? Like, I had money to pay my bills, but I wanted more. I want to travel. I want to do this. I want to do that. So I was like, okay, I
Exactly.
don't know if the acting is going to provide that type of opportunity for me to do that. Maybe eventually, but it's going to take some time. If anyone knows anything about acting, it's a grinding field. It's a grinding career. 96% of actors are unemployed, while the other 4% are your regular working actor, and the 1% are like the Will Smith, Viola Davis, Meryl Streep, et cetera, et cetera. It's actually like 0.01%. It's really small. And while I was in the pandemic, I said, I want to do something else that I can expand my talents outside of the film world that can still keep me creative. And I worked with a lot of IT people at the job, and I would ask questions, but I never explored it. And then I just started doing some research on Google, started looking up some like programs where I can get certified in certain things. And I was like, do I really like this? Do I really want to go through this? And today I'm still interested in doing that. And I've been still online looking through cybersecurity, seeing what that is all about, and just going from there. I still have a lot to learn though, but yes, I'm still very much into technology. So that's where I am currently.
Okay. All right. I mean, I what I tell anybody that asks about the IT field is one, we need more representation, not just from the back end
Hmm.
where you're the tech support. We need that representation on the front end. Two, tech field is extremely lucrative. No one really understands how lucrative it is. Like when I was pretty much at home, I had other side hustles where I would be on a specific website, somebody will pay me to do something, and I will basically charge whatever fee I wanted.
Hmm.
And they would pay that at with no hesitation. Tech related. So when I say extremely lucrative, depending on how good you become, you're looking at six figures easy, and that's if you're really that good. It's just you just got to know how to market yourself. Um, and just there's nothing wrong with being a working actor or actress. It's just we know the big stars that are out there. They're working actors and actors too. I mean, they get a bigger brand deal or something like that, but they're still working. If they're not shooting a movie, they're promoting something. I saw a post from Robert Downey Jr. I guess he partnered with some cybersecurity company,
Hmm.
and he's like their new face of cybersecurity
Hmm.
because something happened where somebody got a hold of maybe his accounts or email, but that's another story.
Okay.
But yeah, working actors and actresses are constant in Hollywood. Um, and then just going back to soap operas and your love for it, I think all Jamaican moms love watching soap operas for some reason. I don't know
All
what it is.
Jamaican and Africans.
Exactly. So it's that daytime drama that they love. So, but again, it's what's common in the household. So you just get used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in in what way has technology shaped the future shaping in what way is technology shaping the future of the entertainment industry from your point of view?
From my point of view, because I'm sure everyone has, heard about the whole strike, the writer strike, and then the actors, came on board. Um, I want to say it's like a double-edged sword in a way because we want the best type of technology to create the best types of films as well. But when you start to trickle down into the whole, okay, well, we can make this film look beautiful. We can make this film like if you want to do Titanic over, we can make it feel like you're actually underwater experiencing like right. We want that very immersive type of like high tech movie. But if now you're gonna trickle it down where you're like, okay, we don't need the writers, we don't need the actors, then it's like, okay, now we have a problem with that. So it's like a necessary evil, but a lot of the actors and a lot of the filmmakers, the writers are getting significantly affected. Like I follow a few actors and actresses on Instagram, and they were exposing their checks that they received, their residuals, and a lot of them were like 4 cents, $1.25, $7. I'm like, y'all gonna play in our faces like that? Like, come on, man, just keep this and just like So, like I said, it's a necessary evil, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I'm not on board with AI. If AI is used for other things, such as not replacing actors, cool, because you need human emotions. I don't care how technically advanced we'll become as a human race. You cannot replace human emotion. And if you ever do that, hell, kudos to the person who's gonna make that happen. But for now,
Yeah.
we have a lot of work to do when it comes to that.
All right. So here's what I say to any black person who um doesn't understand AI. When it comes to the culture, when it comes to minorities in general, especially us, we've always missed that technology boat. And I've seen it time and time again. AI and crypto is going to be that boat that takes us into that next level. Now, if we miss it, I'm sorry to say we're not going to get that opportunity as a people to kind of jump, 10x or 20x, whatever we're trying to do, whether it be making money some way somehow. Those two industries, it's what's going to take us into that next level if some of us kind of just stay focused and look at that as opportunities to you know get that bag, like these kids are saying. um and also when it comes to the technology aspect, look at what Sam Jackson did. He licensed his look because I think some part, maybe a Marvel comic used him as a reference for one of their characters.
Mhm.
So he got a wind of that. And what he did is just he licensed his look. If anybody's going to use his look in any way, he gets some money. He gets that money, um, some way, somehow. And I think what he's also doing is he's licensing his voice. So I've seen those residual checks that actors are getting. Um, in this economy, I really think that's not, something to really brag about. But you got to look at so many opportunities out there. You know, license your look for a game or license your voice for a game.
Mhm.
Think about that. That game is going to get played thousands of times, going to be downloaded. you know your character may get screenshotted and uploaded to whatever, but you're still getting a check from that. And from what I know, those checks are pretty good. They're
Okay.
pretty decent.
So I do agree with that. And in theory, yes, that does sound, very lucrative. And if you want to set up like residual income all the time, great. But we're talking about Samuel Jackson, Samuel L. Jackson, right? Someone who's
Yeah.
already made a name for himself. That image alone is probably a $5 million deal. Someone like me is a $5 deal. So where
Okay.
is my value? I have to create a value already to be like, yeah, let me license my image. No one knows who I am. No one knows my face. No, I don't bring in any type of money yet. My name doesn't. So
Not yet. Not
not
yet.
yet, but there's too many actors. Like I said, it's like 0.1% of Samuel L. Jacksons who are working like that consistently, while there's 96% of people like me. So it's a huge imbalance. And like I said, in theory, it sounds great for the one percenters, but for us, and a lot of the contracts we're going to get is a one-time use contract. It's not going to be something that is ongoing, which is why we have a problem with that, because we are the face of actors, not Will Smith, not Leonardo DiCaprio. We are. There's more of us than they are of them. That's why they use them so often. They don't want to expand and give others opportunity. I mean, more new actors are coming in, but it's just not enough, right? Like I haven't necessarily gotten my big break yet. There's a lot of me out there. So it's like I get both side of the story, but you have to present some type of value, because that's what this is all about. It's all about money.
Yeah.
These industry
Exactly.
these studios want money. Samuel L. Jackson brings money in. Will Smith brings money in. Even Jada. Jada brings money in. So that's where that
Man.
yeah. Yeah, so that's where that disconnect is too. It's like, we have to learn how to create some form of value, which is what I'm currently doing as well. I have to have some product to make them see like you can make money off of me. So,
Yeah. All right. So on that argument, what do you know who Issa Rae is, right?
yes, I was gonna say her name just now. Yeah.
Okay. So she created her value
Mhm.
by creating her series on YouTube.
Mhm.
Uh, Again, a platform that is there for everybody,
Yeah.
but nobody sees that potential. Everybody wants to put that ratchetry on there, but again, nobody is thinking about that 20-year plan, you know, creating something that could take you into the next step. But I totally understand what you're saying, and I get it. But I want to also say is that I think Sam Jackson started when he was 40, so he didn't have all the benefits we had now. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
all the advancement in technology that it wasn't available in his time frame.
Mhm.
He's reaping the benefits now
Mhm.
because he established himself.
Mhm.
But if you look what he's doing, I think he's a great actor. He's constantly working. He never turns down a part. I think from what he said is just that part you turn down might be that part that takes you, into that next level. So I think that's one of his strategies of not turning something down.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay. I was gonna say something, but it slipped my mind. But anyways, continue. Continue.
okay. All right, no problem. If it pops back up, just
Okay.
jump.
It just
Yeah.
popped back up. Okay. So everyone, you're saying, Samuel L. Jackson came from a time where there was all this technology that we have today wasn't back then. And you're right about that. But at the same time, it's like all of us, unfortunately, can't all be successful. Unfortunately, that's just the reality of it. And there's an oversaturation of a lot of content as well. So it's like Issa Rae, like I'm creating my own stuff. I know so many people that's creating, and it's like my friend always says, we have to crack that code. So what makes your project better than Issa Rae's project, or Issa Rae better than the Chai? I think that's being filmed in Atlanta. There's a lot of
Hmm.
content, so it's like a lot of these studios are also very picky on what they choose, and not everyone creates good content sometimes that can be sold. So it's a matter of what are you going to offer? Like what is your content about that can it be sold? Can we buy it? Can make money on top of that? So when I create my project, which I did a short film, but that was just to get my feet wet. So now with my series, my episodic, I want that to make money as well. So even with all the technology, it still has to be good. It still has to be something people want to see.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, not everyone will be able to produce that. So I pray that everyone will be able to, because I think everyone deserves a fair chance. Everyone deserves to have financial freedoms and security, but that's not really how it's set up all the time. So,
True, true. But I believe if you stay dedicated,
mm-hmm,
you constantly think about whatever it is you're doing as a business to bring you into something better,
mm-hmm,
then you'll have that opportunity, that chance. And I wouldn't so much say sell your project or sell your content, because ownership is better than just selling it and nobody knows who you are,
mm-hmm.
in my opinion. So, one thing you should constantly think about is just
Yeah, I agree with
owning your,
that.
yeah.
I agree with that because I started a YouTube channel, but unfortunately, I wasn't as consistent with it. But I plan to at least be a little bit more consistent in 2024. And I just got to find my area of expertise that I want to talk about or showcase or anything like that, and just run with that. I think YouTube is a great vehicle where people can be successful if they really want to. If they want financial freedom, it doesn't have to be like a narrative or storytelling or whatever. It doesn't have to be as like professional or fancy or whatever. You can make money doing literally anything because that's what this is about, right? Like everybody want to
Exactly.
make money. No, people want to tiptoe around the word money. No, we're making money. This is about making money and being free
Yeah,
and having a peace of mind. So that's just what I wanted to throw out.
exactly. So I did look at your YouTube page.
God. You did? You did? I was just only going to
uh,
mention it, not for you to see it. Okay, go on.
no, what I say to anybody is just understand the algorithm.
Yeah.
Um, Understand what makes a video trendy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Once you understand those two things,
Yep.
uh, your video is gonna constantly get exposure. People are eventually gonna start knowing who you are.
Yep.
But what most people don't understand is that you can't just upload something and expect it to hit overnight. That's like 1 in 99 chances. Um, in a smart way to look at it is understanding the algorithm
Mm-hmm.
and understanding the platform and what it's all about. So
Mm-hmm.
that's, you know,
I agree.
I do, yeah, I do feel your channel will have potential, but you gotta understand, um and if you got any questions, I'm here, man. I'm not somebody who's gonna be hiding the secret.
Right.
Just ask, and
Right.
I'll tell you some things I do, because I have I'm focusing on my main personal channel right now, but
Mhm.
I have a lot of followers on the business channel. Is it followers that are converting to businesses, converting to leads? No, but when it comes to the business name, yes, it has helped um this year immensely.
Mhm.
So, because I understand the platform and I understand the algorithm.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you have a video on you talking about understanding the algorithms? I'm sure there's lots of YouTube videos out there on that though.
There's lots of YouTube videos out there. I'll eventually maybe post something on my personal channel,
Mm-hmm.
but right now it's just pretty much because I have my own technique and how to do something.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just ask if you want to say, hey, um I'm uploading this, what tips can you give me?
Sure.
And I'll look at it and I'll put it through my set of tools,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll tell you what you need to do, and that's it.
Cool. Got it. Because my first video on there, because I went out and asked for advice from other friends, and I was like, "Hey, what do you think about this video?" Because it was about me, and because I used to suffer from sciatica, like sciatic pain, And I was
Yeah.
like, I want this to be my first YouTube video because I feel like it's gonna attract a lot of people. A lot of people have this problem, and it's a solution-based video. They're gonna wanna, and I'm gonna make it fun so they can, enjoy it while I'm giving a little bit of advice on how to alleviate that pain. And my friend was like, no, I don't think you should put that. Like, no one's gonna care about that. He wasn't being negative or anything like that, but he was trying to say, do something a little bit more fun and da da da. And I thought about it and I said, nah, I'm gonna put this up because I just knew this would probably be, even though I only have 2 videos, I knew
Yeah.
this would be probably the most watched for now on my channel. And it still, I think, is now probably at 20,000 views because
Nice.
I'm giving advice, I'm giving solution, I'm giving help, right? People can find something out of that. So it goes back to what you're saying, knowing who you're trying to attract, what audience are you looking at, um, sorry, and just are you offering any type of like help or even if it's entertainment, comedy, just anything, right? So,
Yeah.
but because my second video, which is about health and other stuff, it didn't do so well, right? So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I don't know what happened there. Like, there's something that I missed right there. So you really got to know. You just got to know. So,
That's it. You just got to know. And there, yeah. So right now, YouTube is going through a little bit of I want to say restructuring, or
it
not even
sure
in
is.
that way.
It's cleaning
Um,
house, basically.
yeah, yeah. It's on the new management now. So what the person that's managing, well, I guess he's a CEO or whatever,
Mhm,
but he's he's gearing towards like having more exposure when it comes to um podcasting and just kind of telling your story
mhm,
type of thing.
mhm,
So I think that's where the new direction for 2024 is going to go.
mhm,
um because we know, and I call this like years ago. I told somebody podcasting is going to be the new radio,
mm.
and look at how many podcasts are out now.
So
Again, so many, but not all of them are making the traction that they're supposed to make. I mean, when I look at podcasting, I look at, the top tiers. You got your Joe Rogan, and who I like a lot is Joe Button.
okay.
Um, those are like my top two aspirations. Just taking ideas from what they do,
Mhm,
but again, those are the pillars of podcasting
mhm,
to me.
mhm.
So
I agree
yeah,
with that. Yeah, those are like the forefathers of podcasting. And like I said the same thing too. That's also another saturated market as well. But if you know your niche, if you know what you want to talk about, that will also sell. That's why I was like, there's a lot of relationship based podcasts. Like that's the new controversy. All that shit is the new thing these days. Cause me and my friend, we want to get into podcasting, and I came up with the title of like Earth is Ghetto podcast because there's just a lot of ghetto stuff going on out here. Now we did like 2 episodes, but we're gonna go back to the drawing board because I really want to put that out there. You want to have as many eggs in your basket, and that's one of them that I want to work on.
true. But you also got to remember, what image are you trying to portray? You
Mm-hmm.
know, you're an actress, so
That's true.
do you want that gossiping or that hood ratchetry to
It won't
be
be that. It won't be hood ratchetry. It's gonna be something of value, I feel, and intelligence. With a
okay?
little bit of spunk and flair. So there's a lot of actors that are doing podcasting now. It doesn't have to be like love and hip hop type of feel. It's none of that. It's just us talking about some shit that's
Okay.
going on, you know?
Okay.
Yeah,
All
and a
right.
lot of these people who come up from podcasts, they're getting cast and stuff because if you notice too, a lot of the movies that they're producing is kind of going down in value as well. They're not talking about anything these days. It's just these little basic little storytelling that, to just produce it and keep it moving to the next one. So they're gonna still
Exactly.
use you. They're gonna use you regardless, unless you're trying to get up there with Leonardo and them. Then I understand. But for now, we can just work our way up. Work our way up.
That's it. I mean, just work your way up. So
Hmm.
it's nothing wrong with that.
Yes.
All right. So let's get into, as a tech enthusiast, what are some of the most exciting advancements you've witnessed in the most recent years that have the potential to transform the entertainment landscape? I know we're probably gonna touch back into that, AI a little
Hmm.
bit.
That's what I
Um,
was gonna say. That's mainly the main one right now because that's the most controversial one as well. I haven't seen there was a because I was talking to this producer and he told me there's this AI robot. I forgot the name of it. It's pretty popular. It was out there recently. Is it Nancy or that one
um,
robot that was interviewing and she was talking and the back of her head is missing, but she has a face.
oh, okay.
What is her
I
name?
Yeah, I've seen it. I think the name is Nancy or something like that.
Well,
I
well,
think.
if you know who I'm talking about, then that's who I'm talking
Yeah.
about. The producer hit me up and he was like, they're about to create a movie with some named actors and that damn robot. So I'm just like, oh, okay, cool. I mean, we did the Terminator. Is that something like that? We did iRobot, but you know, this one's
Yeah.
different. So they're gonna have like emotional lines. Like, what's happening here? So, there's a lot of change in the acting world, like in terms of technology. I haven't seen anything super duper out of this world yet, but that's a start. And I don't know if it's a good thing yet. I'm still trying to figure it out, but yeah.
Okay. I mean, like I always say, it's just um when it comes to us, we're always missing that boat. It's been like that throughout history, since we were free, or however you call it, but
Hmm.
it's been like that throughout the history. We've always missed that boat, just whether it's lack of resources or just not knowing who to talk to.
Hmm.
Um AI is here. I know um I've seen a lot of stuff coming from Microsoft on AI.
Hmm.
And I'm just looking at it just to tap into it to kind of take me and my company into the next level.
Okay.
Because if you're first is a good thing, if you're last, it's a bad thing. So if you're in between, okay, but I'd rather be first than last, you
Hmm.
know. So,
So how do you plan?
but
I guess I'm going to ask you a quick question. How do you plan to like utilize this AI or incorporate it into
okay.
your business? Like, what are you planning, Marvin? Are you trying to take over the world right now?
Hey, why shouldn't a black man take over the world? I mean, come on. So how do I so all right, for instance, doing some research on you. I have an AI tool that all I have to do is just type it, ask some questions. Yes, it's on top of Chat GPT,
I was gonna
but
say, is that where you're at?
yeah, no, I mean, I have my own little interface if I want to go deep in depth and try to find as much as on somebody as possible.
Hmm.
I mean, I incorporate it into everything.
Okay.
I mean, understanding how it works is one of the benefits that's gonna um I guess take me and my company into the next level. So, that's how I'm that's what I'm willing to tell right now. So, exactly, be first.
Like exactly.
That's it, man.
I hear
That's
you.
it.
I hear you. I gotta follow in your lead, man. You got a lot going on.
Hey, man, I'm willing to give away the sauce. I'll give it to friends. Everybody else got to pay for it, but I'll give it to friends
Facts.
first. That's
I
it.
appreciate that.
Not a problem. Um, so let's talk about the struggles of being a black actress in New York City.
Mm,
Um, Tell me about some of the ups and downs, because I know it's rejection after rejection. Again, even in the small business field, it's just rejection after rejection.
mhm.
So give me some insights on how you stay focused and how you deal with it?
I don't know. Like I said, my school really taught me how to have thick skin. And on top of that, like I came here when I was 10 years old from Jamaica. So when it comes to like racism, colorism, even featureism, I didn't know what any of those things were at the time. I was still very fresh into this whole American culture and how, white people treat black people, whatever, you know. And I didn't realize too, even in college, there was a lot of like microaggression and like subtle racism I did not pick up on because I was very ignorant to what the hell are y'all talking about. And as I've
Hmm.
learned and grown and gotten older and I, did a lot of research on my own because I felt like I didn't get enough insight or education from my school, especially being like a theater person, theater, studying theater or whatever. And on top of that, I didn't get enough exposure to the stage as well because they kept producing a lot of damn plays that had no black people in it. So I've only had like two plays because there were some servants in the damn play. So that's my part. Now it's my time to shine. And even then I was replaced by someone who was lighter, who was I think she was like a Hispanic person. They still gave it to her and I'm like, we were all so confused, but whatever, that's neither here or there. So my school set me up really well. That's I will always give them.
Yeah, you cut out. Hold on, still can't hear you. No. Nope. Okay, I can hear you now too.
Okay, all right. I knew that was gonna happen, man. I need to get a new
It's all right.
phone. Oh, okay, cool. So my school definitely set me up for the real world because they made me have really thick skin. So coming into New York now, it's a melting pot of different cultures. So you're not really gonna always experience that type of thing. But in the grand scheme of things, you do. You still do because when I was submitting for representation for agencies, managers, and things like that, they would always tell me that they already have my look. And I would get so confused. I'm like, you have someone that looks like me? I have a sister out there? Boy, let me
Uh-huh.
know this information. Let me go talk to my mama. Come to find out, it's just another black girl. So I went to their website and I looked at their roster, and there'll be like 30 off the same looking white woman. So I'm just like, and there'll be like one or two black girls. And I'll be like, what the hell are they talking about? They have so many white people and this little black people, but you already got my look. That can still be marketed, right? So that
Yeah.
was a huge thing for me because it took me such a long time to get representation because of that factor. Um, in terms of like auditioning as well, they look for certain looks. Featureism and colorism it's not just racism. There's featureisms and there's colorism. Those are like the cousins and the daughters of racism. So that also affected me as well throughout my career in New York. But I did still get to work with a lot of amazing people, a lot of great people. But I'm still trying to find my peach. I'm still trying to find my role, so I'm still definitely
Yeah.
working hard towards that. And in the grand scheme of all of that, I just started creating my own projects. Well, by next year, I want to, have my own episodic, kind of like what Issa Rae did, and run
Exactly.
with that. Because at this time, I'm not waiting for anyone to hire me, and I'm not waiting for anyone to give me an opportunity. I just have to make it myself. Is it scary? Yes, but hey, you just got to jump in at this point and let it figure it out. Let it figure out itself. So those have been my struggles, and I'm grateful for every no because I have learned why, and I'm just gonna keep it moving. So,
Yeah, the no's are definitely a good thing.
mm,
Because I look at it like this. You're not for everybody. Um owning owning your own and creating your own is one of the benefits of living in this modern world that I think a lot of people take for advantage. Um Again, if you look at it from my point of view, uh being promoted or being promoted to manager, whatever. Instead of waiting for somebody to promote me, I created my own little company. I'm the owner. I
Mhm.
I do have employees that work for me, so I didn't have to wait for that opportunity. I created it myself.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
but those no's are good. Um, I use them as fuel,
Yeah.
and I just keep going.
Mhm.
So, but definitely kudos on that. But let's touch into you said featureism.
Yeah.
Um, or for the audience or whoever's gonna listen to the podcast, what does that mean?
Featurism means what's on your face. Do you have big nose? Do you have big lips? Is it small? Is it more European looking? Your eyes, texture of your hair, these are all the little nuances that they will spit out. If you don't know how to pick up on them, then you won't understand why they don't want you. So
Yeah.
that's what featurism is.
So, all right, give me a sentence of how somebody, let's say a white casting director, whoever,
Hmm.
how would he approach you and say, "Hey, you don't have the features we're looking for." Is that how it usually goes?
Um, they would say you don't have the look. So they're looking for like ambiguous. So for example, we know Kiki Palmer, right?
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
know Zendaya.
Yep.
We can both say, I don't say that, but a lot of people say they're both black, right?
Uh-huh.
Which is not true. Zendaya is clearly biracial. Kiki Palmer is fully black.
Yeah.
So if you're going to say they're both black, you can clearly see the different phenotypes. Kiki Palmer
Yeah.
has the black features, the nose, the bigger nose, the more obvious African look versus Zendaya,
Exactly.
who could pass as like Meghan Markle's sister or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's more on the whiter side, so it's more softer to them. So those are the features or the ambiguity that they're looking for. But they will never
Um,
say it out loud like that. They'll use the word ambiguous. When I submit ambiguous, we're looking for someone ambiguous character, ambiguous act, whatever. Right? We all know what the
yeah.
hell that means. It just means mixed race people, basically.
So they're looking for the Zendaya,
Right.
not the Kiki Palmers.
Right. Even Zendaya
Okay.
has acknowledged that she is the acceptable form of a black girl.
Ah, okay.
But that doesn't mean you're
And
gonna still give up your roles to black girls, though. You can acknowledge it, but still make your bag. So it's like we hear you, girl, but it's like you're still accepting the roles that may still be fit for a black person, or something like that. But I will never tell anyone to not go make your money. Still gonna make your
exactly.
money, but then it's just like we acknowledge it. Now, what are we doing about it?
Exactly. Exactly. No, totally understand. Just, go make your money regardless of
Hmm.
what um that look that they're going for.
Hmm.
Um but again, it's what we have to deal with on a constant basis regardless of what industry we're in. So,
And I also want to
um
also say it's not just white people that does this. Our own people do it too. We
yeah,
created
yeah,
we created colorism. Well, we didn't create it. We maintain it. We maintain
yeah.
it. So.
I think I'm probably gonna touch base on that in another, maybe a episode later on.
Hmm.
But I have to find the right person to kind of jump into that conversation with,
Sure.
uh, because we yeah, we do it to ourselves.
Hmm.
Um, I think recently I was having conversations with two techs in the industry, and I was trying to point them out that with a lot of the changes coming from Microsoft, there's a lot of opportunities for everybody to make some money.
Hmm.
But again, instead of them kind of following along, they wanted to do their own thing,
Hmm.
which is all right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But again, it's just the fact that we just keep doing it to ourselves instead of being part of a team and kind of just rolling with the person who has that idea, that vision.
Hmm.
We're all gonna get that bag, but somebody has to be the one that's leading.
Yeah.
So, but um, all right. So let's get into uh, let's talk about your future projects and what you got going on. Because I did look at your IMDb. I think you have something in that's filming right now, or it's wrapped up.
Um, the last project that I worked on, that one is in post production right now. So we're done filming that. If you do see some that are saying that it's saying filming, that's because that project or those people just either halted it or just are no longer working on that project. So they didn't update IMDb as well. So I can't
Okay.
help that. But for the most part, everything else you see on my resume or my IMDb is accurate. So right now I'm just auditioning. I'm not gonna lie, I've been focused mainly on working. I haven't been so invested in submitting for acting stuff. This year, in the earlier part of this year, I was so close to booking a part. There was like 1,800 actresses. I made it to the top 5. So I
Nice.
enjoy those moments because it reminds me like, yeah, I'm that, like I do have I can compete with anyone out there because out of 1,800 and I made it to the top 5. And it's always gonna be like it's gonna come down to certain things that they're looking for feature wise, and also it's also in terms of like how many followers you have as well. Because my social
Yeah.
media, I'm not gonna lie, my social media is a little trash. Like I need to update. I don't feel like buying followers. I'm sorry, I don't want to do that. But no shade, no shade. But we'll see. I'm gonna revamp. Let's see what 2024 has in store. I'm gonna revamp and really rebrand
Yeah.
myself as well. But I've just been working hard this year so to save money because I want to invest in my project, which is my
Nice.
episodic.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's talk about because I did see you have producer creds.
Yeah.
Um, how does one go about producing their own project? Like, what's behind that?
Money. I'm just kidding. Well, you have to pay out of pocket if you're doing this on your own because being a producer doesn't just mean giving money. You could contribute by helping with casting, helping with location, helping with food, or whatever, right? But for
Yeah.
me, producing my own project, um, such as my short film, I was the casting director, the director. I was an actor in it. I was the producer. I wasn't the DP. That was another person who did the camera work. I did
Yeah.
location scouting. Ordered the food. I handled everything on set, and then I hired a few other friends of mine who then took over what I've already started. So that was the main thing for producing for me. So yeah,
Okay. Okay. Um, so let's talk about home. Um, because
is that
you and
Jamaican?
I, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
because we're both Jamaicans, so
Oh yeah,
a lot of
I
people
forgot.
don't.
I forgot.
Again, a lot of people don't know this, but yeah, I'm Jamaican, so in the corporate world, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't give us that foot in the door. To be honest, we got to assimilate to make that bag some way or another. So have you been back home lately?
Yeah, I was back home in May.
And what's your opinion about back home? Like what's because I could say it from my point of view, a lot of things have changed.
Mm-hmm.
Um not so much in a good way,
Mm,
but just a lot of straight cutthroatness is happening down there
mhm.
for no reason. So what's your thoughts on that?
Um, I have a love-hate relationship with Jamaica. Like when I was younger, I used to big up Jamaica. I still do big it up. Like we're so loud as Jamaicans. Like we wear everything Jamaican to let the world know we're Jamaicans. But I hate the direction in which they're going because it's affecting the people. And I hate that. I hate how, their inflation is completely different. It's unreasonable for no damn reason. Um,
Mhm.
everything is like 200 times more than what it is up here. And it's like, I get so frustrated when I go down there because I'm like, I'm not going to buy this. I know what this is worth, you know. But the only thing I can say is kind of like, what do you call it? Gentrification in a way. People look at it as
Yeah.
it being bad, but we got to start liking nice things though. You know, we don't want everything to look all broke down and all that. So we want nice, appealing looking communities and people can get jobs, people can work. So the fact that a lot of them are infiltrated in Jamaica, specifically Asian, specifically Chinese, like it's becoming very Chinese heavy, which is why I started learning Chinese because I want to know what they're saying. And in about 10 years, China is about to take over the world. They're competing right now. They're like head to head with white males. And pretty soon
Yeah.
they're gonna
Yeah.
be right here. So when people say, "Oh well, Chinese are subjugated too," or Chinese, like no, like the white people got to cooperate. Everything is made in China. If you can't mess up that bag with China. So let's keep it a buck. But
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Jamaica, though, like they're investing in roads, and then you have to pay so much tolls, and you have to pay it back in that way. And people are saying, well, a lot of people are getting jobs. But I'm just like, when they say that, and they're bringing in other Chinese workers to build it, and I'm like, it makes me think, okay, y'all think y'all people are stupid. Y'all think y'all people are incompetent and can't build nothing. So I'm like, we really have to look at the government and like, what are they doing? Why are they not invested in the children? Why are they not invested in people? Give them jobs, give them good trades, help pay for certain trades so they can learn, get your people stronger. But that's not what's going on right now. They don't care about their people. But like I said, the only thing is if they're going to bring business, give jobs to people then. That's the only thing, but I don't know how good that is because, like, what type of job is it? Is it livable wage job? You know, there's so many questions behind all that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, yeah. So the road is the highway is there,
Mhm.
and you got to look at it like this. All right. So they paved a highway. It's basically you could drive from one side of Jamaica to the other now.
Mhm.
I think so.
Yep, that's correct.
Look at it like this.
Mhm.
So the Chinese have always been there in Jamaica. From as long as I can remember, somebody somewhere has a half Chinese, half Jamaican grandmother. It's Chinese has been there in Jamaica for years.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about building the roads and stuff like that, that costs money,
Mhm.
and they got to make their money back.
Mhm.
But I would have, if it came down to the negotiation, I would have said, okay, if you want to build the roads, give a successful, Jamaican business, and I say successful, give them that opportunity to subcontract,
Mhm.
and whoever that business want to subcontract out to, whatever those little aspects of construction, yeah, they could give it to that, self worker or whoever. But I think it's just maybe they didn't just have the right leverage, or could be they just didn't understand the contract.
Mhm.
But again, it's I just don't understand like why they're letting so many things go, because right now the real estate market in Jamaica is booming, but who's benefiting from it? Is it just rich Jamaicans or the white folks that vacation there
Yeah.
year round?
Yeah.
So,
True.
but again, it's just, you got to look at things like that and why they're not tapping into, the Jamaicans that are here and doing something. But again, that's just me. I think it's just, I don't know what it is. Maybe just they just don't have the right negotiation skills for the contracts, or
Or they don't have faith in their own people, and they have more
exact.
faith in other people with lighter complexion. And at some
Yeah,
point, though, I understand to an extent because they have shown to be like the most strongest in regards to business as well, and they get shit done. Both Asians and
yeah,
both whites, and sometimes, unfortunately, our own people sometimes will drop the ball. They're not reliable. I hate to say it, Dr. Umar talks about this as well. So I'm not shading nobody. Umar has talked about it. That's why he claimed his school wasn't built yet. But yeah, those are some of the reasons
Yeah.
why as well. We have, as people, we have a lot of work to do. We can't always look on the outside and just look for blame or a reason. We kind of have to figure out what's going on inside before we start going outside.
Yeah. And then there's a lot of this what I call, land stealing that's going on. Um I don't get it, to be honest. I get it. Everybody wants to do the Airbnb, but how you going to steal, you know, your own family's land or somebody's cousin's land and then claim it as your own? I don't get that. I don't get how, just for what? Just for Airbnb?
Airbnb is
Like,
booming. I'm not gonna lie. I just told my mom to, let's build a house up because we have a family home in Jamaica that we rent out, just regular rent. But I told her you can make more
yeah,
money Airbnb in, because when I went to Jamaica the last few times, we Airbnb and they made like over 100K in 2 weeks. And you're renting the house for like 40K a month. Like, let's do the math
yeah,
here. So I
yeah.
understand why that's happening.
I know. I did. When we and my family went, we did stay in the Airbnb. We rented it from somebody who lived in Jamaica,
Mm-hmm.
a native who was there.
Mm-hmm.
And he basically broke it down. Like, yeah, Airbnb is booming. I think that's one of the best things they could have done.
Yeah.
But I've also heard of, the whole land grab, people stealing each other's land.
I
It's
haven't
like,
heard about that one yet.
oh yeah, I don't want to give it away, but there's just a little, family drama on my side when it comes to that. But that is, a lot of people are doing that down there. They're finding, or they're looking for, people who they have relatives in England or whatever. They don't care about the home that's there.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of stealing it, do it in a traditional, ethical way.
Mm.
You know, find out who owns it, get word to whoever and say, "Hey, if I buy this from you, there's some kind of money on the back end or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
But don't just steal somebody else's land. That's kind of crazy.
Is it your own people doing it to each other?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Goes
It's
back to
it's
my
old
point.
Jamaicans doing it.
Hold on one second. Let me get my water real quick.
All right.
Alrighty. Ah,
Right. So we're almost done. We're probably just gonna touch base on maybe three more questions and then we're
okay.
done.
Oh, okay.
Um, so let's talk about this. How can individuals and organizations support the effects to increase representation and diversity within the entertainment industry?
I mean, I think they're kind of already doing that, but that question will only matter unless they're sincere about it. A lot of them are doing what do you call those things? Oh my God, like the ones where you go to affirmative action type things. But I feel like
Yeah.
they're doing it because they feel like they have to. Personally, I think people need to start hiring people just based on merit at this point and not just let me rephrase this before like the comments go crazy. I don't want to say like based on like skin color, nothing like that, but everyone deserves a fair chance. Just ignore skin color. But there should be an equal it should be an equal playing field where we should look at other minorities and choose the ones that are that have great skill sets, strong skill sets, and incorporate that. Like, am I making sense? But it has to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
from a genuine place. Like, don't just hire one black person and be like, all right, we hit the status quo, y'all, we good to go. Like, no, like
yeah,
be sincere, and be fair. Be fair, you know.
yeah. I mean, definitely, I understand what you're saying, and um, it goes back to what I was saying before. The technology we have can do so much more for us than just waiting for somebody to give us
Mhm,
something that give us that opportunity.
mhm,
Because I know a lot of, I want to say, not the A-list actors,
mhm,
probably the CDs type actors that are actually making a lot of good money, putting
mhm.
out their own independent film. They
Yeah.
don't really rely on that big name Hollywood budget, or even some directors right now. They're pretty much shooting movies on iPhones. I mean, nobody thought about that years ago, but the technology in an iPhone can give you that movie quality um, look and feel
Mhm,
in such a small device.
mhm,
Um, but again, uh, being that tech guy is just the technology nowadays, and the technology that's available could do so much more for people like us.
mhm.
And and again, if we miss this boat, it's over. It's over for us.
Yeah, I
So
mean, I know a lot of people who are a lot of filmmakers who are just pushing out content, because there's gonna be a big boom for like people are gonna want content, especially during this strike right now. Now is the perfect time to produce and create, as well. So, oh my God, where was I going with that point? Sorry, I get brain fart sometimes. Um,
it's fine. It's fine.
yeah, but no, I was trying to make a point with that. Yeah. So I know you discuss like inclusivity and things like that and how, people can include minority. But like my thing is like I don't really care about like them saying, oh, let's include blacks and let's do this, let's do that. Cause I'm like, we don't need that. Like, I understand the conversation, I get it, but at some point, it's like let's just produce like Bollywood. I don't hear Bollywood who that are Indian people talking about we want to be in Hollywood right now. Like they're just making their stuff, minding their business, and if they get
Make-
singing, boom, they get seen. They just won the Oscar for what? Not to. Like I ain't know nothing about that. Right? They're just doing them as opposed to making noise. So just create, right? Like I was hoping Tyler Perry would get BT, but then who cares about that, right? We're talking about
Yeah,
Tyler
yeah,
Perry. All you gotta do is just Tyler Perry channel, TPC. I don't know. Boom, there's your own channel. Why do we have to constantly
exactly,
have these conversations about inclusion and stuff like that? Let's just exist. But we gotta start learning to just do our thing right here. Let's just do it. We don't need like, to have a white person, a white savior. We don't need none of that. Just do your thing and it will
exactly,
come and we'll eventually just migrate together, whatever, right? That's my
exactly.
stance. So that's why I think my question, my response was more of like be fair, whatever, whatever, because they're already doing that. But it's like we're gonna be having this conversation again for the next what, 30, 40 years? Because I'm saying we have to
Yeah,
be sincere.
we're gonna keep having this conversation because it's it's a distraction for people. Because if you just talked about Bollywood created their own industry. China created their own movie industry. After watching American cinema for years,
Yep.
they basically said, um, we don't want to do that anymore. We want to create our own cinematic industry.
Yep.
And now the Chinese have the pull to say, we don't want that movie in our country. And
Sure do.
they can't they can't, American studios really can't do anything about it.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
but again,
Another market that's really that way is Koreans. Like Koreans are taking over as well. Their
yeah,
cinematography. I don't care what anyone says, it knocks majority of like Hollywood productions out the water. Their attention to detail, like
Water.
the care that they put into these movies. Like Squid Game changed the game in my opinion. Right now,
Yeah.
America's creating a knockoff reality show off of a Korean show, and a lot of these American shows they have are based on Asian movies, like The Good Doctor. Also, what do you call it? The girl that comes out the TV, right? Like a lot of people don't know that
Oh yeah,
the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
brunch. A lot
Yeah.
of people don't know these are like remake from Asian productions and things like that.
Remake. Yeah.
So my thing, and Nollywood is another one too. Like that one is booming. But then again, it's a
Yeah.
cultural difference as well. So Nollywood, they're
Yeah.
doing them, they're making their own noise. So we also need to do the same thing. Like I think if we focus on that, I think there'll be a lot more opportunities. There'll be a
Exactly.
lot more chance for me to be a working actor. Everybody want
Exactly.
to get on the white film. I get it, but we all know what that means when you're trying to
Yeah.
fighting so hard for that.
I mean, I hear so many times like people knock Tyler Perry for what he does, or how he portrays black men, but Tyler Perry has his own studio.
Hmm.
How many people could
Right,
actually say they have their own studio?
right. But you also want to
So
make something that represents us well. I do
yeah,
not see, like, for example, Medea. Like, kudos to Tyler, he made his bag, right? But it was
yeah,
off the image of black women as well. Like, you haven't created a great image of us. Like when I think of white productions, like I think of Mrs. Doubtfire. Mrs. Doubtfire wasn't loud, aggressive, belligerent, or ghetto, right? Or name another white movie where someone's dressing as a white as a woman. There's a few of them out there where white men
yeah,
are dressing as white women. They don't represent their women in a negative light. They're very careful because that stuff is important to them. So we kind of have to be careful too. We got to take note and be careful on how we represent because yeah, you might make millions and billions, but off of the expense of what, you know?
exactly.
And that's why you're hearing people say the way he's portraying black men, the way he's portraying black women, like, yeah,
I know, I know. But I think we should look at what the other um cultures are doing that created their own cinema.
mhm,
Like I love I'm a big fan of certain Korean films
yeah,
because it's some of them are just not too it's not pretty. Some of them are just like gangster movies, but they're really really well written gangster movies.
mhm,
Um and even though it's in another language, you could definitely understand what's going on. Um, but the Bollywood stuff, there's some that I like, but I think it's just a lot of the Korean stuff that it's what's been drawing me because the stories are well written, and it's a lot of the stuff that's happening in their own culture. Like there's Korean gangsters. I mean, I didn't really know about it till I saw one of their movies that really kind of you know took me by surprise,
yeah.
and then that's when I got hooked on it. So
Mm, same here,
Um,
man. I'm a Korean fangirl.
so so the movies are good.
Yeah.
They're well written.
Oh yeah.
Um, the Chinese, they're getting into a lot of the sci-fi stuff,
Mhm.
and some of that's pretty good.
Mhm.
Um, they're getting there with the stories, but again, it's just they created their own,
Mhm.
and every other minorities, but we're still sitting here saying, "Hey, I want more representation,"
Yeah.
when they're not really going to give it to you. So,
Right. Right.
but
Exactly. And that's my point. So
Um, all right, so let's jump into the last question. No, we're gonna jump into the last question, and then I'm gonna give you uh off the curve question.
okay.
Kind of just give you. I kind of want to see when it comes to your craft, what you feel, um, how you feel you portray yourself.
Okay.
So, all right, so what are your hopes for the future of technology and the role in promoting promoting black people on the cinema, on the screens? basically cinema screens.
So, what are my hopes in
Yeah.
technology promoting Black people on
Yeah.
screens?
Yeah. Like,
Well, go ahead.
so in with technology, we know AI and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
but what do you want to see more of on the screens? Do you want to see Black scientists? Do you want to see, doctors cracking the genome? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how can technology help promote us better?
Mm-hmm. Well, definitely exactly what you just said. Definitely a lot more scientists and a lot more doctors. And I feel like a lot more films that talk about history, our better side of history.
Yeah.
We've been inventors, we've been hairstylists, we've been all of those things. Like, I'm so tired of slavery movies. Like, if I see another slavery movie, I'm gonna become a slave again. I just can't do it. So I don't want no struggle movie. So in the
So that
future,
Will Smith slave movie didn't do it for you?
which
That Will Smith slave
I
movie?
didn't I didn't even know it existed, okay? And I'm just like, that's the one with the guy with the whip on his back, I think, with all the scars. I
Yeah.
remember he did,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, and I'm like, why? Like, for what? We get it,
Yeah.
So please, like, if we see more uplifting things, that will push more of our young children to want to do greater. That's why I'm like, we have to be careful how we portray ourselves, that loud, belligerent type of, like, I don't watch no love and hip hop, no, and no shade to none of these women and men that want to make their money in their bags, but we are greater than that. Because if you like ever seen any of those videos where they go to China or any of these places and they ask you a question, what do you know about Black people? The first thing they're gonna say is, oh, they know how to shake their ass, they are gangsters, they make lots of music. But I'm like you're an IT guy, Marvin. Like, you're fucking brilliant when it comes to, like, technology. We have, who is it, Robert Smith. I mean, I've heard a few things about him, but he's like the first Black billionaire in tech, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like, if we need to put more of that in the forefront. And I don't know if technology would even, like, has anything to do with it. It's about the choices that we make on what to produce as well. And then technology comes after that. So we have to make the
Yeah.
conscious decision to create more powerful players, more powerful characters, and be intentional about it, you know? So that's my
No,
take.
I definitely understand, and I agree that um slavery movies are kind of overrepresented,
Mhm,
but as a fan, as being a kind of a history buff,
mhm,
there's aspects of our history that we don't even know.
okay.
Um and I don't want to say I don't want to see another slave movie. I want to see a slave movie that depicts our history well.
Does
Give
it
us
still
insights that we
does it still show us
didn't
in
know.
chains though?
Huh?
Does it still shows us in chains though?
No, we don't have to see anybody in chains.
Okay,
I mean, you could touch base on it, but we don't have to kind of see anybody in chains
okay.
because our history is vast. Even before, touching down to into America,
Mhm,
there's aspects of our history that we don't even know.
mhm,
So I just want to see more movies. If it's a slavery movie, I want to see the proper depiction, not just somebody in chains running through the fields or running wherever because he's got to be free. He or she got to be free. There's aspects of our history that it's been lost and no one knows it. A lot of the older generations know, but they've gotten to the point where they just don't want to pass it down to anybody. Even in Jamaica, there's a lot of history there
mhm,
that no one's really tapping into.
mhm,
So, um, but yes, I do agree. Like, another slave movie isn't what I want to see,
mhm.
and true, we need to have proper representation. I think one quote that I took from Kevin Samuel when he was alive is that the image of the black man and the black woman is the most tainted in the world. Um, you're not looking for that lawyer that's pulling down, X amount on a $1 billion deal. You know, you're not looking for that. You're looking for that females that's gonna, shake their ass at a historical monument or whatever, or that black man that has like 15 baby mamas. So
That's interesting
yes,
coming from him, considering he didn't contribute anything to our representation, but maybe
no,
that's
no,
the
he well
conversation.
again, it's whoever is looking, but I believe he did. He just had his own way of doing it. Again, you got a black man that's well spoken in a suit, um, understands how to look, been in corporate America, made a lot of money in corporate America. Um, but again, everybody's interpretation of him is different. I've never met him. I've just been able to kind of look at his content and kind of pull out what I need to pull out of it. Other people look at it and say, "Hey, he's shaming a lot of women." But again, it's
No,
it's
I mean, he
all
told the truth. He told the truth to women,
yeah,
but he wasn't telling the truth as to why he was saying what he was saying. He was just trying to hurt women's feelings. I think he was telling the truth. I agree with a lot of the things he was saying, about why
yeah,
women were doing certain things and why men were doing certain things, but he wasn't given the root cause behind it. And that's the thing I didn't agree with, you know.
yeah.
And he was saying a lot of outlandish things as well. But for the most part, the quote you said about what he just said, I do agree with that. And you're right.
All right. So last question, curveball question. So what kind of in when I'm saying actress, actor,
Mhm,
what kind of actor do you see yourself as? The Sam Jackson
mhm.
that's always never going to turn down a deal, or the the Denzel Washington who's picky about what roles he takes?
When did Denzel Washington blow up? He was younger. He started earlier than Samuel, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, so
He was TV. He was TV. I think in the early days he did
mhm,
TV, and then that's when he transitioned into like doing movies and stuff like that.
got you. So yeah, so he had an earlier start than Sam, and I think that has a lot
Yeah,
to do with their point of view on turning things down. Because I'm guessing Sam was grinding for a long time, so he has the mentality of, I don't have the luxury of turning stuff down right now. I need to, and that's how I am as well. I mean, I started to become a little bit more picky when the projects were just like made no sense or they weren't paying or anything like that. But for the most part, me, if a project is paying and if it speaks to my soul, even if it's a little outlandish, if it's still art, I'm with it. For the most part, I've always like shown up to everything. It's very rare that I ever turn stuff down. So that's me. Even when I get, if I ever get my break, I want to be a consistently working actor. The only time I'm gonna turn something down is unless my agent says no, Kenisha will not benefit you. Da 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 da. But for the most
yeah.
part, I am a working girl, so that is my brand, I guess.
Okay. I mean, again, it's just that constant grind. You gotta put in the work. A lot of hours, early days, long nights,
Yeah,
uh, no working on holidays. So that's just part of it. I mean, you're building something, so there's no days off when you're building. So
yeah, you're right about that. You're constantly working every day. But I'm ready for the grind, and I'm still on the grind. So looking to see what 2024 has in store for
I
me.
know
That rhyme.
I'm definitely looking forward to 2024.
Yeah,
So I mean, I want to put it out there in the universe. It's gonna be a good year.
yeah.
On my side, we've got some good talented people that are working with me,
Mhm. Okay.
and that's what I like. Yeah.
Mhm. Cool. Cool.
So, Kenisha, it's thank you for doing the podcast. It's been fun.
Thank you.
This was great.
Thank you for
This
having
was
me, and
great.
I hope I can come back and we can talk about
Of course.
other things as well. If you want to talk about relationships, I'm open to that too. I'm just kidding. I mean, I don't mind. I don't mind, but anything you
Yeah.
want to talk about, I'm open to it.
All right. Not a problem. Not a problem. All right. So